Wow, that's a big word there, buddy. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, and I'm also proud of a Canucks. I remember the Canucks organization who just got an extension. This news just coming in. I can't cover for Daily Hive because I'm here for the people on Locked On Canucks. About Manny Malhotra, the club just announced that he has been extended. The club picks up his
Wow.
option, so he's been extended as head coach of the Abbotsford Canucks through the 2026-27 season. And of course, that shouldn't be a huge surprise. Of course, Manny Malhotra was just working miracles down there in Abbotsford last year, propelling a relatively young team into the Calder Cup in a league where usually the veteran AHL teams win. But Kyle, I started thinking about this today as I was writing about Canucks facing the most pressure this season, and Adam Foote pops up on the list. This Canucks organization has seen head coaches get fired in short order. Of course, you go back to like Bill LaForge in the '80s. That's the prime example. The guy won like 4 of 22 games, and got canned after 22 games. But even guys like John Tortorella, Bruce Boudreau had very short tenures in Vancouver. Now you're looking at Adam Foote and saying, if the Canucks don't have a good season, Manny could be in line for an NHL head coaching job with the Canucks sooner rather than later. I mean,
Wow.
where are you at right now on Adam Foote and the Canucks heading into this season? I mean, I said I believe they're a playoff team, so I'm not predicting that this is going to happen. But man, oh man, I can't think of a Canucks coach who maybe had more pressure than than Adam, I should say. You can talk about Boudreau entering that 22-23 season, but he was coming off of a high house of Green and Benning. It was a bit different from when Boudreau got hired, but there's a lot of pressure on Adam Foote before the guys even coach an NHL game.
Yeah, it goes back to keeping Quinn Hughes, right? I mean, most teams want to win the Stanley Cup, and we just want to keep Quinn Hughes. It's just, again, it's generational stuff. It's comparable to what the Oilers are dealing with when it comes to McDavid and his contract situation, and we're talking about a situation surrounding a team that made the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. So what I'm trying to say is, yeah, of course, there's a lot of pressure on Adam Foote, and I don't even think it was a joke when we brought this up a couple months ago. I think when Manny Malhotra didn't get hired by the Dallas Stars, we said to each other, we told the people, and Trevor, again, you're going to be in the same building as Adam Foote, so I definitely hope he's not watching this right now. Okay, I don't want to see you missing in Penticton over there. Okay, and having to track those footsteps. Okay, but we said if Adam Foote gets off to like a 4-9-2 start, Manny Malhotra will be the new coach of the Vancouver Canucks. And I wonder if they told him that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a path for him, right? I was looking it up kind of, as I was writing today. I mean, the average head coaching tenure in the NHL is 2.3 to 2.5 years, which is pretty crazy to believe that, most head coaches in the NHL, don't make it through 3 full seasons, right? In the NBA and the NFL and the MLB, it's more like 4 to 5 seasons before a guy gets canned. So the averages are a lot longer. But yeah, there's just a ton of pressure on Adam Foote this season, right? And I'm just not quite sure what to expect from Adam Foote. I mean, look, he did a great job with the defense. That's the backbone of this team. So I'm believing from that aspect. But I do think coaching the defense and the PK is a little different from being the head coach and, running lines 1 through 4. So I just, to me, one of the biggest questions of the Canucks season is, what is Adam Foote as a head coach? And I don't even want to make the prediction about if Manny Malhotra will be the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. I think if Quinn Hughes leaves and Manny Malhotra's still with the team, then I think he's almost automatically the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks because they're in rebuilding mode. He seems like a good guy to rebuild with, grow with the team. But for now, with Adam Foote, it's just one of the biggest mysteries of the Canucks so far. And another reason why I'm stoked to be at training camp this year for Daily Hive and Locked On Canucks, just to see how Adam Foote's running things, right?
Yeah.
We've got so many different head coaches running training camps over the past few seasons. For the guys who've been there a long time, I'm sure that could be a bit confusing, but they also know what works and what doesn't based on who's been there in the past.
Yeah. And you know what makes Adam Foote's job way more harder? It's the fact that even coaching a team where there is a player getting paid $11.6 million, there's this consensus that, and yeah, every coach does have to quote unquote be a leader, but man, oh man, there's like this consensus that like Adam Foote really has to go in there and set the tone and guide the troops, and do what he did for Colorado as a player way back when. Like there's a lot of, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of work to be done within a locker room that was definitely broken. And yeah, winning fixes everything. Like I'm pretty sure that this team can get off to like a 6-0-1 start, and last year can be forgotten about. But man, oh man, during training camp, like setting the tone is so important. Correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor, and I hope I hope on Thursday you can rest this theory or put this theory to rest, because I don't want to believe it, but I feel as if there's a better chance that Adam Foote sets the tone than Elias Pettersson. Like, don't I want the players to lead, and I want guys like Archie Banks, Max Hassan, Elias Pettersson, Tom Melander, um, just like uh, even like guys like Jake DeBrusk, who's still relatively new to the Canucks. Like, I'd want them to go into that room seeing Elias Pettersson being the hardest worker there, being the last one off the ice. I know we hate to hear this, but because it was kind of like an unreasonable comparison. But yo, be more like Sidney Crosby. Be that dog. But I feel pessimistic. I don't know if he can be that guy. And I know there's going to be some people out there saying, "Oh, he's not a leader. He doesn't have to be a leader. He just has to. He's getting paid almost $12 million. He's got to be a leader." And again, do we have to wait till November for him to be confident to find that leadership? Because we're missing some of that leadership courtesy of Miller's absence or whatever. I'm talking a lot here, but again, Adam Foote has to do a lot here, a lot of work. And going back to Manny Malhotra, for some reason in July, or I guess in June, when Tocchet quit the team, a lot of us felt like, based on the situation in that room, that Manny Malhotra would have a better time rallying the troops than Adam Foote. Which, again, that could be just us being from the outside, because based on what we've heard from Quinn, Demko, Philip Hedl, and Brock Besser, like, they all love Adam Foote. But rallying the troops is something that a lot of head coaches have to do, but especially in Vancouver, man. Especially in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, just based on your comment about, maybe Foote having more of a tone-setting presence at training camp than Pettersson. I think in today's NHL, especially, it comes from the players first, and it comes from the leaders first. Coaches, for the most part, we're past the hard-ass days. They're almost coaching individuals more than they're coaching a team. A guy like Elias Pettersson has to be a leader, has to be a tone setter at camp. To me, that's more important than anything Adam Foote can say or do. All right, let's wrap up here on Locked On Canucks. On the other side, I want to talk a bit about Patrik Allvin. Does this guy have any tricks up his sleeve before the season starts? We'll get into that in some of your comments coming up here on Locked On Canucks.